Alright, so last time we left off where our character was able to run, jump, jump in place, walk and jump. So let's take a look at creating our coin pickup. So ordinarily you would model this in 3D, but for now I'm just going to go to Game Object, Create Other, and I'm going to make a cylinder. And I'm going to use sort of that code that we used in our space shooter, or revisit it rather, and that's just using triggers. So let's go ahead and create a prefab out of this. So in our, I'm going to create a new folder and call it models. I'm going to drag my characters in there. And in this folder, I'm going to create another folder called objects. And then in that folder, create another folder called pickups. So I'm going to drag my coin. Let's create a folder called coin. We just want to keep it all as neat and clean as possible. So here's my cylinder. I'm going to name it, let's rename it coin prefab. And the second I drag it in here, it'll become a prefab. So I can actually delete this and then drag this back out, and now I have a prefab. So let's go ahead and give this a name, because we're going to reference it by name, and let's just call it coin. And when we select our coin prefab, let's make sure that we have the tag set. So if you remember from last time, any of our anything that we decide that we're going to use as a trigger, it needs to have two things: a mesh collider that's marked as trigger, and then needs a rigid body component. So let's take off gravity, because if we leave it on, obviously, if you remember from our other tutorial, it's going to fall on the ground. So let's uncheck gravity. And let's create a new script that's going to control all of our pickups for our Leo characters. So here's C#, and I'm going to name it pickups. I'm going to drag this pickup script right onto Leo. And then let's go ahead and open this up. And ordinarily you'd make it a capital P. So try to stay away from what I did there, which is lowercase. So for your classes. So just so that it's easier to see, let's delete everything on the inside. And let's take a look at writing our trigger function. If you remember from last time, the Ontriggerenter method or function provided by Unity allows us to check whether or not we hit a trigger in a scene, and then we can do something to the object that we hit the trigger. So just to make things easier, I'm going to do other object, and I need to give it the data type slider. So what this does is this variable is going to store any of the things that the names of anything, or all of the information rather, of an object that we hit. This position, the name, tags, things like that. So what we want to say is if we bump into an object that has the name tag or tagged, if we bump into another game object that has the tag coin, we want to do something. So we write other object, and then whatever it is we're checking for. If we're checking for if it has a rigid body, we're checking if it has an animation, all the other stuff. We just want to check if the other object is a game object. And does it have a tag that's the same as the coin tag that we made earlier? So I want to do a few things here. One, I need to create some sort of variable that's going to store the number of coins collected. So I'm going to make a public int coins collected. And I'm leaving it public because what if you want to start your player off with a handful of coins at the very beginning because they need it to buy items in your game. So we'll leave it public so that way we can see it in our viewport. So let's go ahead and hit Control S and select our Leo prefab. Make sure that worked. There it is. I'm going to start my guy off with 0. He's got to work for those coins. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do something very simple, and I'm going to copy this. And last time we did coins collected equals coins collected plus 1. I'm going to show you some shorthand notation. If you write plus plus semicolon, or I'm sorry, semicolon, this will actually add 1 to coins collected. Okay? So to test this, remember we use debug.log for testing. I'm going to write number of coins collected. Give myself a little space there. Plus coins collected. Okay, so let's hit Control S. I'm going to maximize this. Feel free to pause the video now just to make sure your code looks like this, or print screen it, or write it by hand. Okay, so hopefully this works. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control Shift C to open my console. There we go. Leave that off to the side. I'm going to press play. And if I walk up to my coin here, we get nothing. And there's a couple reasons why. One, let's check our coin prefab. We have a rigid body there. Here we go. So our Leo prefab here has a capsule collider. That's good. But he does not have a rigid body. Let's make sure that's on there, and we don't have use gravity. Now make sure that your character, again, has a capsule collider and has a rigid body. So let's try that one more time. There we go. You can see we get 1 coin, 2 coins, 3 coins. Okay, so say we're trying to make a string of these coins. Actually, to make it easier in game, go ahead and close that. I'm going to go to that Objects Pickups folder. I'm going to create a new material. And I'm going to model it after the Mario coins. And I'm going to make this yellow, a bright yellow. And we'll make it self-illuminated. There we go. So it really stands out. I might make a material for the floor. Actually, since everything is so white, I'm going to make it purple. See how that looks. Yeah, so let's duplicate a bunch of these guys. That'll kind of help our player know where they should be running to. I'm going to go ahead and save this. What I might do as well is I might create a coin script that would play a particle effect or some sort of animation while our coin is moving. So let's go to our scripts folder. I'm going to create another script. You know what, I'm going to make a folder in here, and I'm going to call this Object Scripts. And I'm going to make another folder called Character Scripts. Actually, we'll just make it Leo Scripts. And then we can duplicate these scripts for other characters if need be. So in my Object Scripts folder, I'm going to make another one. I'm going to call it Coin Pickup. And then I'm just going to drag this on top of this coin prefab and then hit apply so that it gets on all of these guys. So let's open that script up. And what I'm going to do is, let's get rid of start. And I'm going to do transform dot let's rotate and 0 0 5 0 semicolon. Save that. And what that's going to do is it's going to rotate my coin. And then the last thing I want to do is let's go up to this one here. Let's do pickups. Here's that other coin pickup script if you didn't see it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do other object, or I'm going to do destroy. Other object dot game object and hit Control S. So if we bump into something called coin, we're going to destroy it, and then we're going to increase coins collected. See if that works. I'm going to maximize that so we can see that a little bit better. There's one. Oh, missed that guy. We might have to mess with the position of the rotation, so it's more on our character and not on the camera. So we've got 5 coins. Alright, that's the end of this tutorial.